One question I often get asked in workshops is how do people connect, or how do they deal with a background and a foreground? How do they actually work the two so that they actually sit together properly in the painting? One of the videos I was thinking of doing today is basically showing how we actually link all the different shapes in the painting. Let's just take a subject. Something simple, something not too complicated. Here I'm drawing a waiter, subject that I did a long time ago. Just came back from Paris, and Paris is really one of the best places for this kind of subject, because the waiters are just dressed the way that you want to paint them. So that really helps. But thinking of something simple, nothing complicated, getting the shapes down. And we're always thinking of a subject, thinking of a story behind the painting. You're not just drawing shapes, you're drawing a story. And this story is an everyday scene in Paris at a cafe. Parisians drink more coffee than they do beer, unlike the Australians. The Australians are wine and beer, but the Parisians are more into coffee. So a couple of mugs, a cup, and that'll do. The idea is having something sort of going on, a story going on, where you've got one person relating to another person, and some sort of intimate connection between the two of them, a conversation, a look, some sort of connection. So we'll put the second person here somewhere. I don't want to put him obviously behind the tray. Let's put him a little bit further over here so that his head's not literally, visually being chopped by the tray. Now this isn't a painting, this is just a simple sketch, so just get someone down here. The table will probably be around this level. Laid back and comfortable. Okay, so first thing, position of the shapes. The shapes are actually touching each other. The table links the two people. The background could do as well, but could add a chair here, which would actually also add as another connecting shape, which could be of help. Mind you, this is only just a quick idea, quick sketch, just to give you an idea of how I link my shapes in my paintings, as that was the question asked. Okay. Shadows are great for this as well. Always think of shadows as tools of connecting, linking, connecting, losing shape, losing definition. Like something quick. Let's throw the paint on. And I'll just show you how I sort of tie those shapes together. The waiters usually have a black gilet on, which is what I've drawn here, white sleeves. So his outer shape is dark. So ideally I'm going to have a lighter background behind him. I'm not going to put him on a dark background if his clothing is dark, because he'll obviously disappear into the background. So a very light background. Could almost just do a dirty water. Bring that down. Not looking for perfection. Just a sketch. Perfection's boring anyway. Never want to look for perfection. You want to look for loose, free, energetic. Get the movement in and get the attitude in. Precision is pretty much a boring thing. Okay, so let's come around here. Cutting around. The paper was obviously dry. Get these shapes in. Now my light source here, I'm actually going to have my light source coming from this side, coming from the left, for the simple reason that I prefer my focal point to be the figure on the left rather than the figure on the right. The figure on the right rather than the figure on the left. Okay, so if that's the case, let's go in straight into the subject here. Bit of shadow on the shadow side. Just by linking, connecting, bleeding, letting the colour bleed into the shadow side, you're actually going to be connecting the background with your subject. It's as simple as that. Okay, that's simple, straightforward, but effective. Shadow side. So, shadow side here as well. It's only a light wash. Throw a bit more colour into it here. The person which is sitting down can be quite lost, if you like. He's there for the story. He's not there really to be the focal point in my story. This is my story. And that's the fun about painting. It's always your story. Okay, just simple. And this sort of exercise is brilliant to free your hand up, to get your brain into sort of like a simplifying mode where you're getting away from detail, you're getting away from putting in every single little thing that you see, simplifying shape, getting down to the basics. That's really what you want. Okay, something darker in here. Okay. Okay, so what we've got at the moment, I'm not really doing this person here, is I'm doing the areas that I want fused or that I can lose, can be more suggested once the painting's finished. These shapes can all sort of bleed into each other, which will help them remain more discreet. And just have enough detail so we actually understand what the story is. But at the same time, not too much. Just clean it up a little bit. Blocking the colours in. No detail, it's just a quick sketch. You just want to throw something on, quick, fast, and simple. This is great just to get your hands warmed up before you even do a painting, this sort of thing. Now, where did I say the light's coming from? The light's coming from over here. So let's throw some shadow on the ground already, which can help me connect to our second figure. Okay, keep them connected. Connecting shapes is actually really important to create atmosphere because you're losing the exactness, if you like, the realist part of the painting, and at the same time you're putting in suggested form. Suggested form always leaves you with space to imagine, so it creates an atmosphere to it. It creates more of a life to it, which is always good for watercolour, because watercolour is a really good technique for feeling, for emotion. Just because it runs everywhere and it's just loose. Okay, come back to that after. Now, see that paper's still wet here, so there's a nice soft edge, but it's staying, the colour's staying more or less where I want it to. Longer. Alright. So I'm not really interested in doing anything fabulous, just looking for connecting shapes. The fabulous will be for another painting. This is just a quick exercise. Think of repeating your colours, the colours that you have in one shape, bring them into the next shape. So I've just done a dark grey, but it's got a bit of green to it. So let's throw a little bit of that under the table, just to emphasize those legs. Repeating the value will help connect the shapes, because your eye will automatically go from one shape to the other shape because the colour's the same. Repeating. Okay. Moving up. Let that link into the collar. Let it just bleed a little bit so that arm isn't too strong. Connecting shapes also helps have a bit of flow within a painting. Your eye's going from one shape to another shape much more easily than if you've got a hard edge. It's allowing the spectator to actually move from one shape to another shape, which is really important, to actually grab the viewer's eye, hold it, maintain it, rather than have them go off and walk off and go and have a look at the painting next to yours, the painting that's hanging next to yours. Okay, so very simple subject, nothing complicated, nothing extraordinary. But you see how by just a small simple background, bringing the colour into the shapes, letting each section of the figure, for example, the head fuse with the shoulders, which is fusing with the arm, which is fusing with the background, which is fusing with the apron, with the pants, with the shadow, the figure actually has more of a natural feel to it, rather than cutting it into separate sections. few details, and that's it. So very short exercise, very short little video. But sometimes this sort of thing I really think is much more interesting than actually painting, because you learn more, you're freeing up your hands, you're freeing up your brain. What am I going to put in, what am I going to leave out, what's important, what's not important, rather than being comfortable doing everything that you see, painting everything that you see. Just get the basics down. And these sort of exercises are really game changers, because they teach you more than a painting will. They teach you much more than a painting will. Rather than painting every time you pick the brush up. Sometimes these sort of sketches do a lot more for you. So there you go. A few more touches and that'll be it. Nothing too interesting. This is a fabulous little brush. It's an Escoda. All my brushes are my favourite, so I can't say it's my favourite, but it's the only brush that I have for fine detail, because it's just so good. I'm a drawer at heart. I'm not my heart is with drawing rather than painting. I love drawing. So I want my brushes to be able to draw. Have enough spring in them to do 1,000 strokes per minute, because I'm quite a fast painter. But at the same time, precision. I want precision. I don't want to have a brush that loses its capacity after a week or so, which is often what happens with the natural hairs. This is just brilliant. I'm not sponsored by them. Just a true statement. Okay, I guess he's going to need a hand under there, isn't he? Almost forgot his hand. Just throw that in there, that'll do. Nothing perfect. Perfect's boring. No one wants to be perfect. Or if they do, they probably regret it after. You want character, you want feeling, you want movement, you want life. You want interesting. So there you go. Little quick something. Nothing fabulous, but see how those linking shapes start bringing a bit of life to the subject. And that's really what you want. You want subjects that you can connect shapes. You want to be able to connect shapes. You want to be able to create life. You want to be able to give them some sort of a message. There you go. So, that's it for this video, and I look forward to seeing you soon. So if you have any ideas, if you have any questions, sing out, and I'll see if I can think of something that I can do to help. Enjoy. Happy painting.